Hello, good morning, good evening, good night. This is Chronically Obsessed, and we have not spoken in a minute. Now, I am here. I want to do something a little bit different. We are going to do a live reaction to the season 8 trailer of Love is Blind. This is something that I wasn't sure when I first started my channel. I wasn't sure if I wanted to react to reality TV, although I do absolutely love it. There are very things I love as much as my guilty pleasure of reality TV. Now, here's the conundrum. My problem is that on reality TV, people are not really depicted as they are. They are very much depicted within a storyline, if you will. The producers, they craft a storyline, they follow you, they fit everything and all of the interactions into the storyline to make for great TV. Now, I love that. I love that. The problem is these are real people's lives that they're playing with. And I can also accept that the people being depicted in these storylines may not appreciate the edit they're getting. However, a couple of things got me over this hump. First of all, I needed a palate cleanser. After season 2 of Hot D, which I covered on the channel, if you wanna watch those, I go really in depth on those. I was just lost. I felt a lot of my creativity had just fled, and because I think it was just the letdown. The initial reaction to the final season of Hot D, at first, I was okay with it, and then as I went on, I realized a lot of it was cope. I just I was so impressed with the first season. I was so in love with the story that I was expecting so much more, and I go into it and I want to make a separate video, and that's mostly why I've been missing, is that I just have not been motivated enough to do this video about my thoughts on the my final thoughts on the overall season 2 of Hot D, and I'm not gonna get into it here, but I kept feeling like I could not go on and make another video until I addressed that video and how upset I was, and there were a ton of shows that I wanted to cover that kind of came and went, and I still hadn't made that video, and I still haven't, and I need to, but I'm still so disappointed overall in retrospect, and I think that it just really kind of pulled back some of the trauma I felt with season 7 and 8 of Game of Thrones. This is not the place to discuss that, but this went into why I chose to cover Love is Blind next, and that's because I need a palate cleanser. I need something. I started to record videos for Dune, I started recording videos for a couple of other shows, and I was just disheartened. I guess the word is, like, I could not move forward. However, if there's one thing I love, it's sipping some tea. And watching season 7 of Love is Blind, which I also considered following, was, it was something else, but the ensuing drama that still has not ended, and if you know, you know, it was just too much tea, and it was piping hot, and I kept burning my mouth. So, I decided, "You know what? We're gonna go into Love is Blind." Now, if you don't know what Love is Blind is, I don't know why you're here because I'm a pretty small channel. It's not like I have hardcores. This Love is Blind is a dating show where essentially people go and they date each other sight unseen. They sit in these pods and they just talk to each other, and they hopefully fall in love. They hopefully get married within, like, a month. Like, you have to I think the pod time is 10 days, and then you have, like, 3 or 4 weeks in the real semi-real world to get to know each other, and then you have to get married. So, just insane timeline. Completely, completely insane timeline. However, the show has now become infamous. Like, season 1 was chef's kiss. But the ensuing seasons since then have just become more and more of a train wreck and full, just absolutely riddled of clout chasers. And I have already heard some tea before this season has even started, which I will not get into here for people who do not enjoy spoilers, but I do want to do a breakdown of the trailer, and hopefully I will do a blind react to the cast as well. But I have not checked out the cast, so I don't know any of these people. I'm gonna do a blind react to the trailer, see who I love, see who I hate, and we'll do the cast. I know that I tend to ramble and go long. So let's just get this started. So again, I know that this is not a real representation of the people that we are seeing. I know that they are so much more multifaceted and complex, but just for the moment, we're going to suspend reality and watch reality TV. I think it would be so hard during this whole session season, like where you are sitting there and you're talking to people. I think it would be so hard to not try and picture. I would not be able to do it. Not try and picture what you think the person would look like. I would not be able to do it at all. I am one of those people, I'm very visual, and I not that I care that much about looks, but I have to see things, and if I don't have a picture of something, of how something looks, I will make one up in my mind in order to be able to work with it. I'm very visual in that way, even with information, everything like that. It is kinda like the dating Hunger Games. It is wild that this guy has immediately decided that this chick is not attractive simply because she is 30 years old. That's just crazy, absolutely crazy. Like, without giving too much away, I would never go back to my 20s. No, you couldn't pay me to be 20 years old again. No way. This guy here is saying that his sister is blind, and so I'm assuming he's trying to date on Love is Blind because then he can be a little bit more like her. She loves people because like, without even seeing them. And I think that that is a great inspiration. So, but again, I also think that they are probably warming us up to have him be a very sympathetic or character. So already we can see who the villain is and who one of the heroes are. So, and we can definitely see that they are already setting up a love triangle. Okay. Also, TikTok drama. Looks like within this couple, there's going to be some TikTok drama, some girl crying on TikTok. Interesting, especially since IRL, there is already some TikTok drama coming out about one of these guys. I don't know who, one of these people. I don't know which one because I have not went down the rabbit hole. I wanted to be completely fresh. I didn't wanna be like, "Oh, there he is." But I know that this person is in the trailer, thus the TikTok drama. Okay, and somebody has a boyfriend going into it. Interesting, because again, we have had on past seasons, if you've been watching, I have been watching since the 1st season. We've had afterwards on the outside, people who have gone in, again, clout chasing with significant others on the other side, but it never came out during the season in the actual show. So I'm excited to see how they handle that finally because they don't even bring it up on the tell-all, and I hate that. Oh, and maybe a girl also cheating with somebody very close by. Ooh, prenups. Love the prenup because that is something that is I feel like that's something that is becoming more and more and more mainstream, especially as people start getting married later and later in life, that prenups are I don't think that they're the same kind of, like, bad word or bad thing that they used to be. I think they're becoming more and more common because everybody realizes that you have a prenup going into a marriage, whether you sign one or not. Either you write it with your significant other or the government writes it for you. So there is a prenup always. But here they're gonna make it a big deal. So it'll be interesting to see what the dynamic between the 2 because it looks like the guy was asking for the prenup. So I assume the girl is more successful or potentially more successful, or maybe her family has money. Let me just say, I love the idea of these winter weddings. As a Canadian, I am a little excited to see them, like any show some, like, winter representation. Okay, so here we go. We are now at the Love is Blind bios, so let's check them out. Bundle up and prepare to melt your cold heart. You know what? I do like that they are playing maybe the cold one during the winter, but I did also hear that before somewhere that the not the cold one, that this one is usually the better of the 2 that they put out in a year because of Emmys. It's so that this should be the better one of the 2 they put out this year, but we'll see. Am I gonna watch this? So I think we see her. So far, I'm watching the red flags. I don't see any crazy red flags yet. I wonder if this guy here is the one with the drama. Ah, that's me. I quote movies all the time. Okay, that was boring. Okay, so the women. We just saw her, Amanda, 43, district retail manager. She's a Capricorn, seeking an organic, real life meet cute. Seeking an organic, real life meet cute. Amanda was has swiped left on dating apps for the last time. I think sometimes my age can be a factor. She says at 43, Amanda is the oldest single to enter the pods, but she's far more concerned with emotional maturity. In her eyes, nothing is more attractive than the guy who can tell her exactly how he feels. Somebody who can't communicate is definitely an ick for me. She says, honestly, honesty may even earn her suitor a slice of something scrumptious since Amanda enjoys baking sourdough bread for those she loves. Will any man in the pods be able to rise to Amanda's standards and leave no crumbs? Okay. Love this. Love her. She's adorbs. I'm so rooting for her because I think that this is probably the perfect situation for her. Because again, going in for the pods and being able to meet somebody just completely sight unseen. That's awesome. And if your biggest thing is communication and emotional maturity, the pods is great. Again, unless somebody decides that they're going to manipulate you, which is terrifying. Next, we have Ashley, who's 28, a client success manager. Ashley has been told that she's a bit too much in past relationships, so any future partner needs to love her zest for life. I am not willing to sacrifice my excitability, she says. I really just want a partner who can embrace that fully. Ready to see the beauty in the simplest moments, Ashley hopes to spend the rest of her days with someone who'll catch every sunset and walk around the city snapping photographs. If Ashley finds a self assured, expressive guy, she'll lock him down at a shutter speed, sight unseen. I'd like a secure man, she says. You've got to be confident with what you've got. I don't care if you're shorter than me or anything. Just do it with confidence. Ooh, not bad. Sounds a little clingy, but I understand she's not the one writing this, so I won't put that on her. Who's next? This is Brittany. She's a partnership executive. I hate it when they put these like weird job titles that you've never heard of before. What's a partnership executive? I don't know. She's an Aries, love her already because so am I. So she's gonna be fun to watch. Sports lover Brittany. Oh, we would never be friends. Like, love her. Oh no, we couldn't be friends. I can't stand sports. I don't play any sports ball. I cannot watch sports ball. My attention span is not long enough. Sports lover Brittany says her openness to new experiences prompted her to make the big move to Minneapolis. Ideally, she'd like to match with someone who's just as curious and game to swing for the fences. I'm looking for a very confident man, she says. I want them to be kind. I want them to kind of have their own little thing and be able to teach me some things. If that includes how to be on time, all the better, as she admits she struggles with punctuality. But as a successful businesswoman who's worked with the NBA, NFL, and MLB. Oh, go girl boss. In addition to playing and coaching Division 1 college basketball, she's clearly a pro who has mastered quite a few things on her own. Okay, well, I will forgive her for the sports now because obviously sports are her life. Like sports are her profession, her job, all of that. But yeah, I'm gonna like her. She's gonna be witty, she's gonna be clever, she's going to be independent, and I bet you she's going to be strong, which scares me because I find that personally in life, outside of the YouTubes and stuff like that, I also am an Aries. I am also an entrepreneur. I am also very opinionated. I can be stubborn sometimes. And I've always found that to be kind of used against you. I am so nervous for her. I'm going to be honest. I am so nervous for her and for her edit and for not how she comes across, but how she is perceived. Because, yeah, I feel that being so powerful is often weaponized against women. And as a woman of color myself, even more so. Cassandra, age 30, hairstylist, Taurus. Okay. For Cassandra, a good sense of humor is the ultimate green flag, which should come as no surprise as she was named after a character in Wayne's World. Way. Oh, way. I get it. In addition to witty banter, she's looking forward to getting vulnerable in the pods with a future partner. But time with her group of girls comes first. So just as the Spice Girls once wisely sang, if you want to be Cassandra's lover, you've got to get with her friends. When it comes to boxers or briefs, we don't know if she has a preference as long as whatever the guy is wearing gets the job done. My biggest ick is when you see the top of a guy's butt crack. She says, I can't handle that. I agree, Cassandra. I agree. We can be friends. Next is Kylie at 28. She's a medical student and a Virgo. Med student Kylie is determined to heal some lonely hearts. One thing that's really unique about the pods is everybody's here to get married and find their someone. She says, I'm here to find my husband. When she's not wearing a white coat, Kylie can usually be seen sporting the latest fashion trends, which are responsible for her overflowing closet. But she's more than willing to clean up her shopaholic act to make room for the right guy. The one thing she won't give up, however, is her faith. I'm a very religious person, so I'm looking for someone who also has those traditions and is willing to share them with me and raise a family. If she makes it through, I could see her schedule being a problem. I am in the medical field, and it is something that can often take over every part of your life. It is very all-encompassing, especially for as med students are going through residency. Those are hours and hours and days where you spend in the hospital and studying and prepping for exams, and it's really easy for your partner to feel neglected and resentment for your job. And especially, again, if a lot of times I find that there are a lot of guys who are okay with their female, like their wife, their girlfriend being more successful than they are or just as successful, but it can be really intimidating. While she's a student, it might be great. But as she goes on and starts racking up initials after her name, it can start to feel very intimidating. So I want nothing but the best for her. Like, I want such good things for her because you have to work so hard to even get into med school. Okay, age 31. This is Lauren, age 31, educational sales. She's a Sagittarius. Coming from a big Irish Catholic family with 80 first cousins. I also come from a massive family, but 80, wow. Wow. Lauren has always wanted to start one of her own, but her recent relationships never seem to make it past the 6 to 9 month mark, leaving her eager to find connection to last a lifetime. As a former teacher, Lauren is primed to be a star student in the pods. I ask a lot of questions and really like to get to know people, she says, but she tends to be an overthinker and processor, which could get in the way of her decision making. I just like to know what's going on and how people are feeling, which can be a little bit too much sometimes, she says. However, if any of her suitors are too invested in their personal appearance, or hers for that matter, then the choice to move on will be simple. It just comes off very arrogant, and I can pick up on that. Educational sales. Interesting. I wonder what she sells. I'm so nosy. This is why I like reality TV because I am so nosy. Next, we have Madison. Madison's 28. She's an artist. Oh, I wonder what kind of artist. She's a Leo. Madison's most consistent relationship has been with her beloved French bulldog, Henry. Is it Henry or is it Henri? And yes, he has his own Instagram account. But now this artist is looking to fill in the blank canvas of her love life with a guy who matches her goofy girl energy. Bonus points if he can roll up his sleeves and join in the studio. And if that's not exactly his speed, and there's always room on the back of her motorcycle. Oh, but don't expect Madison to fall for just anyone in the pods. And she's proud of never settling for anything less than she deserves, which includes men with long fingernails and mommy issues who cheat and don't like spicy food. Oh, I am right there with you. If you can't always reach her, don't take it personally. I'm really bad at texting. Oh, Madison, I'm like right there. Sometimes my friends are like, "Did you pass away because I haven't heard from you in 2 weeks?" Okay. So, she's me, but with much less artistic ability. Yeah. I am so bad for getting a text message and looking at the text message and then, like, not having something immediately to say in the text message, and so I will put it down and literally forget about it for months, and then all of a sudden, like, 6 months later, I'll be like, "Hey, yeah, sorry." So if you are a friend of mine, this has happened to you 100%. Like, if you're a relative of mine, this has happened to you 100%, where you have texted me and I have just disappeared, sometimes mid-conversation for, like, days, weeks, months, until I randomly remember in the middle of the night and hope that you have do not disturb on your phone because now I have to text you back because I finally remembered. I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I did not forget you. I did, but I didn't." Because, yeah, out of sight, out of mind, like, object permanence is a thing. So I get you, Madison. I get you. I will defend you. Next, we have Meg, 31, oncology nurse. Oh, that is a hard profession. Libra. Put free spirited Meg in a box and you'll miss out on all she has to offer. As an oncology nurse, work comes first, but she's also a self described goof who can be a little bit of an airhead, a little bit airheaded from time to time. I miss my eggs. I miss my exit nearly every day, probably because she's exhausted when I drive to work, and I tend to lose my phone or just forget to plug it in. Yep, I feel you there. She says, with a demanding career, dating has been nearly impossible. I told you, healthcare is a hard profession to date. But after 2 years of the single life, Meg is making finding love a priority. In the pods, she's willing to go deep, but if her energy isn't reciprocated, then it's on to the next one. My biggest ick is somebody who doesn't ask questions back. Oh, I'm bad for that, she says. But if he values humor and heart in equal measure and doesn't mind taking charge in the kitchen, then Meg is ready to make a leap of faith. Okay, so asking questions back, I'm really bad for that. I get like really in my head when talking to new people, and I will sit there and I will like run through and practice how to ask a question like 17 different ways. And then literally, like, by the time I'm ready to say it out loud, they're already on asking me another question. So I get that. And I really think that you should just let people get comfortable with you before you take that as necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, I am standing up for the people who live in their head too much today. Molly, age 30, executive assistant. See, here's a job that I know, Sagittarius. Self made Molly is proud of purchasing a home all on her own where she plans to spend Christmases to come with her forever person. I can relate to that. Good job, Molly. That is being able to, how old is she? 30? Being able to purchase a home of your own as young as possible. I know in today's economy, don't even get me started, but that is like, if people who don't want to purchase a home, like, don't have to purchase a home, it's not a problem, but that adds so much stability to your future, and if you can get a really good rate and a really good house, even if it's a fixer upper with really, really, like, with a nice low mortgage, that can really help set you up with financial stability for so long, and don't take that as financial advice, but, like, through everything, it is so helpful, and that is coming from somebody who, when I was growing up, literally moved every single year, lived in a new house, went to a new school, sometimes, like, a couple of new houses in a year because we moved so often. Don't ask me why, I don't know, I was a kid. But we moved so often that being able to, like, own your house and know that you're gonna live there today, tomorrow, 10 years from now, until you make the decision not to is priceless. So, I am already, like, snaps for Molly. Where was I? Eager to share her tree decorating traditions, she bought a special ornament into the pods in hopes of gifting it to her future husband. A go getter from an early age, the former Minnesota Timberwolves cheerleader paid for a portion of her college tuition with the funds she won from a lip sync battles she competed in throughout her childhood. Oh, I love her already. Like, I love quirky stories like that. Now, Molly is on the market for a hype man who will back her scene stealing performances in her day to day life. If I'm out on the dance floor, They have to be cheering me on in the corner or out there dancing with me, she says. Boys who are embarrassed easily, please exit stage left. Ooh, okay. So I love her so far. Monica's next, 28, digital marketing, another Aries. We already like her. Family oriented Monica is searching for a guy to join her tribe. I want my partner to feel like another family member. Oh, she says. I am my most authentic self with my mom, dad, and sister, so finding someone who adds that dynamic is more than I could ask for. Monica says her loved ones would describe her as secretly really weird. Okay. So anyone who makes it past the pods must accept her tendency to talk to herself and not violate her list of extremely specific icks. I like her. I like her. Shoes are an ick to me. She says, if you have dirty New Balances that are bright blue, I'm sorry, but we've got to work on it. After deleting her dating apps, Monica hopes the pods will work their magic and help her land a guy who loves her and the experimental recipes she whips up in the kitchen. Ooh. Next is Sarah, 29, another oncology nurse. Oh, she's a Capricorn. Sarah once typed the entire alphabet in 3.5 seconds, but she's still figuring out the ABCs of love. After a year of being single, the oncology nurse is searching for a goal oriented guy who looks on the sunny side of life. And if he happens to laugh at her jokes from time to time, it wouldn't hurt either. The small town vibe of Minneapolis hasn't exactly helped Sarah's hunt for a life partner because it feels like everyone already knows or has dated everyone else. Genuine connections with guys who don't need fixing are paramount, as she spends plenty of time taking care of others at her day job. When she's off duty, Sarah spends her time playing Call of Duty, so her future husband better level up his skills before the wedding day. I love a I love playing video games. I'm obsessed with video games. That is exactly how I spend my time off. And so she's already got my vote. We can keep her. Taylor, 32, colonoscopy nurse. We've got a lot of healthcare today. Pisces, attention. Lindsay Lohan. Taylor is ready to star in her own Christmas rom-com. The thing I'm most excited to with all these Christmas callbacks, I wish they would have just release this in December. At least it would have distracted us from the Ashley and Tyler situation, right? Attention, Lindsay Lohan. Taylor is ready to star in her own Christmas rom-com. The thing I'm most excited to do with my partner is decorating our Christmas tree together, she says. I could cry just thinking about it. Finding a genuine, loyal, caring, adventurous, and funny man in the pods would be the biggest gift Taylor could receive. If you can make me laugh, the rest is history, she adds. And for the record, reindeer hooves are the only ones she wants to see, as the guys who wear flip flops are a major turnoff. After losing herself in past relationships, Taylor feels like she's ready to love fearlessly and wholeheartedly once again, and hopefully her future husband won't mind her caroling all year round. I sing a lot of sentences for no reason, she says, so that might get annoying. Here we are with Tiara. I hope that's how you pronounce it. She's a marketing strategist. She's 34 and she's a Gemini. Ooh, Gemini. Like, sure, looks aren't everything, but if a Michael B. Jordan lookalike with a gentle spirit is waiting in the pods, then Tiara calls first dibs. As someone who is very traditional and prefers the old ways of dating, she recently ditched the apps in hopes of meeting her future husband IRL. But the dating pool feels almost dried up, especially when it comes to finding a man who supports her career. What was she again? A marketing strategist. I'm proud of going back to school to get my MBA at my dream university, Tiara says. It took me 5 years to make it a reality, give and I just didn't give up. Entering the experiment, Tiara is stepping far outside her comfort zone, but there's one thing she won't compromise on. My faith is very important to me, she says. It's not something I can sacrifice for love. Love her. Love this color dress. This is one of those colored dresses where if I saw it, first of all, I would never be able to pull it off. And like, you are definitely going to stand out wearing this. And if you can rock it, and she does, don't get me wrong, she rocks it. Next is Vanessa, 31, media planner, Sagittarius. To impress this classically trained ballerina, oh, that takes some discipline. Your dating skills better be on point. Ha ha ha, I get it. Heading into the experiment, Vanessa is hoping to cross paths with a guy who embraces all her passions. Is it wrong I'm sitting here mentally distracted about how jealous of her posture I'm going to be for the entire season? From dancing on horseback to camping and spontaneous road trips. My partner, my perfect partner is someone who is always down to try something new and go along with my crazy whims, she says. Chasing men based on physical appearance hasn't yielded the kind of love Vanessa has wanted in her life. So she's open to all connections in the pod. Well, most of all, the only thing I'm not willing to sacrifice is my for love is my dogs. She says, I can't live without them. As you shouldn't. You should not have to give up your dogs. Another very nice color dress. Virginia, 34, healthcare recruiter. Interesting. So she is going to be networking the out of this. Capricorn. Adventurous Virginia is the type to enter a marathon on a whim, but she hasn't found the right guy to meet her at the finish line. In past situationships, this doctor's biggest heart has led her astray, but now she's done pouring into others if they aren't filling her cup first. She's showing up and wanting love. Still showing up and wanting love is my hugest accomplishment because it's really easy to become jaded, she says. A patient and faith-driven guy who wants to go the long haul will immediately attract her attention. But if really arrogant and self-centered men are waiting on the other side of the pods, this former cheerleader won't hesitate to show them the DOOR. Okay, it's interesting that she's a healthcare recruiter, but in here they're saying she's a doctor, so she's an actual MD, or I think in the US you can also be a DO. Next is Yemi, 30, product sales manager, Sagittarius. Yemi hasn't had much luck in the dating scene, leaving her to wonder if her future husband can even be found in either of the Twin Cities. Meeting new people has been hard, especially because she feels like that Midwestern guys can be hesitant to make the first move. Men just aren't very forward here, so I don't get approached very often. It might have to do with the fact that I'm a little intimidating, she says. Yemi's independence, success, and drive have helped her climb the corporate ladder, but haven't done wonders for her love life. That's why an ambitious guy who allows her to feel comfortable and helps her grow is who she's hoping to fall for in the pods. But if he has a vulgar sense of humor or bad manners, then a second date is off the table. See, this is exactly what I'm worried about is that, yes, she considers herself or she is self confessed that she can be a little intimidating. She said, like, through her actions, her speech. And I'm very, very nervous. I'm very nervous. Every season, we have seen some like, we don't even have to go to every season. We can just look at last season and look at what happened to Ashley, that I'm sorry, it shouldn't have happened. Tyler should have never been in those pods. There should be a level of trust between the contestants, the guests, the cast of the show, and the producers, that the people they are casting are at least roughly vetted, that they are somewhat safe, that you are not going on this show and you are not having your life potentially destroyed for coming on the show. The legal and financial consequences of Ashley's marriage to Tyler, especially the fact that they were married for over a year, can be devastating. And I find it wild when people don't stop to think about that. She came on this show. She came on the show because she was a lot of these people are approached, but you have to go through all of these psych evaluations. You have to go through all of these, like, why are they even going to screen people if they're going to let somebody like that on? There could have been other people who could have made just as good TV without the legal ramifications of marrying someone with so many evictions, allegedly. We've seen the court transcripts of the 3 children and the child support and all of that, and it's wild that you would allow some, because these are simple searches. Even if you are not going and you are not vetting to that depth, the plethora of people, a simple search through court records of the 30 people that you will actually allow on the show should take no longer than an afternoon, and you have interns. I'm sorry. It's such a rookie move, but and I'm heartbroken for Ashley, but that is just another one of the examples of how some women on this show are just kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Sacrificed for content, and I understand everybody is, but there is a certain level of decency and decorum that we should be able to have in society. I realize that I am here and I am actively participating and actively reviewing this show with the potential, but I think that the producers probably should have done better, to be honest. Okay, we're gonna move on to the men. Did they have a different icon for the women? Now I'm just no I told you I'm nosy. We are here because I am nosy. That's why we're here. I am nosy. I need a bestie to talk to about all of this, and you are here listening. So, the men, this guy, he looks like a doll. Like, he literally looks like he should be inside a package, like he is a Ken doll. Age 33, he's a fashion director slash co-owner, I assume, of some kind of fashion. Like, that's just so random. Like, talk about dangling modifiers, co-owner. Leo. Oh, Leo men. By the time Adam was 13 years old, he'd already traveled 6 continents, so he's well traveled. But this globetrotter believes the right person should make even trips to the grocery store feel like an adventure. Nope, nope, he's already putting the expectations too high, I'm telling you. When it comes to dating, Adam has been losing hope after swiping away for the past few years, especially as the pool has dwindled. Everyone here meets their person when they're like 22, he says. All of a sudden, you're 26 and there's no single people anymore. But while most of his peers were settling down, Adam was busy growing his men's clothing business. Okay, so he owns a clothing business. I was hoping like co-owner, like I said, that can go dark real quick. Adam was busy growing his men's clothing business with from one tiny location to 6 stores across the country. He may have yet to select his mate, but at least he'll have no problems picking out his wedding outfit or his wedding fit. Alrighty. This says, he looks familiar to me. Alex, 29. Why does he look familiar to me? I don't think I know somebody personally, but he looks like somebody. Alex, 29, commercial real estate broker. Taurus. Alex may know how to ride a unicycle, though after some time in the pods, he's hoping to pedal a bicycle built for two. But but that's not his only special skill. This former high school music teacher plays guitar, piano, bass, drums, violin, clarinet, and more. Ideally, Alex's partner won't mind a bit of noise since he's got plenty of instruments to practice, and he's also been known to snore. I can't help it, he says. So please forgive me if he meets an adventurous and slightly nerdy woman who can overlook that potentially aggravating habit. He'll have no problem putting his dating days to bed. Well, he should hook up with the girl that sings, and then they have like a little like duet happening, right? Okay, Andrew, 27, realtor, Cancer. Heading into the pods, intellectually curious Andrew is ready to go deep. I'm someone who is constantly searching for answers to not always the simplest questions, he says. I'm looking for someone who is willing to go on that journey. But cerebral explorations aren't the only adventure this former Army helicopter mechanic is interested in. For Andrew, the frigid temperatures are the hardest part about dating in Minneapolis, making romantic nature walks out of the question. Instead, he prefers to take dates to the dance floor. And while having 2 left feet isn't necessarily a deal breaker, a potential partner who asks him to sacrifice his faith would definitely send him whirling away in the opposite direction. Okay, he should date the cheerleader girl that dances all the time. There we go. I'm making so many connections already. Like, just leave this to me. I can get this done. Quick, whippity snap. Next is Ben, 28, and a developer. Libra. Ben's competitive nature serves him well in his intramural kickball league. Okay. But he's yet to bring home a championship title in the game of love. Well, then he needs to date the coach. A team on and off the field A team player on and off the field, Ben says he can always sense when someone's feeling left out. I have kind of a sixth sense for that and love to just bring people in and make them feel included, he says. If Ben meets a woman who can match his energy and lead with vulnerability in the pods, he won't hesitate to draft her as a partner in life. And if she has a competitive streak of her own and complements his outgoing and playful personality, then it just might be a win win. See, here's the problem right here that I was talking about is that he's looking for vulnerability, and I'm afraid he's not going to get it from some of these girls, especially the ones that are like the coach girl and the other one, I think Yemi. Is it Yemi or Temi? I'm horrible with names. I'm so bad with names, and I am so bad with faces. Like, we watched we watched the video at the beginning, the trailer at the beginning. I've already forgotten all of those faces. I would not be able to match them up. I'm sorry. I'm horrible with face blindness. I'm horrible with time blindness. I'm horrible with names, but I can remember a storyline. Anyways, when you are dating some of these more established women, you might not be able to get that vulnerability immediately out of them because they are, I don't want to say guarded, but because once you hit like a certain level, especially in your career or in your life, or when you have to be a certain amount of aggressive I don't want to say aggressive, but like independent and yeah, independent. It comes off that you are not vulnerable when really what you need is somebody to be a safe place for you so that you can allow that vulnerability to open up. Whereas I feel like a lot of men, even in my own experiences, a lot of men just expect you to immediately open up to them and immediately be that soft person, but you need to have that trust. So I think that vulnerability is a gift and not a default. It's not necessarily an expectation. I think that if you want to feel like a white knight, if you want to feel like you are like saving the damsel in distress nowadays, you have to be pretty stellar and you have to earn that from women because we have been so jaded so many times that we're not just going to put ourselves in a position where you can just save us off the bat. You know what I mean? Let me know if you understand what I mean because yeah, I would love to be saved, but I am not going to be one but I wouldn't be one of those people who just, let my guard down and, put myself in a situation where I could be saved, especially when the bear is always an option. Next is Benji, 26, entrepreneur and realtor, Aquarius. Digital nomad Benji hasn't lived in the same place for the last 7 years. Though he's the youngest single in the pods at 26, he's committed to settling down with someone special who also doesn't mind globetrotting from time to time. I'm a huge traveler, and I see a lot of that in our future, he says. As for his dream partner, Benji's looking for her to check every possible box. He wants to connect with someone who's spontaneous, but can also plan, and someone who pushes him out of his comfort zone but also makes him feel comfortable. The only time will tell if the total package is waiting for him on the other side of that glowing wall. I'm already annoyed with Benji because I'm sorry, ladies, we have enough contradictions that we are trying to fit into. Now we have to fit not now we have to click all of the boxes and be complete opposites. I am a planner. I 100% am a planner. I don't like travel. It's not that I don't like travel. I don't like spontaneity. I need to plan. I don't like travel. No, I like being at home. And so, like, wanting somebody who is able to do both, that's a tall order. I think you need to figure out what you want. And I foresee some problems with Benji. I'm getting a vibe. I'm getting a vibe. We're gonna keep our eye on him. Next is Brad, 35, and he's a dentist. What is Benji again? Benji is an entrepreneur slash realtor and 26. Yeah, he's a baby. He's a baby. Okay, Brad, 35, dentist, Sagittarius. In the pods, Brad plans to bring Midwest Nice back to dating. I'm looking for a best friend, someone who's easy to talk to and nice to me. Okay, see that is achievable. There have been some mean women over the years, and I'd like to avoid that. See, I like Brad so far. As a dentist, Brad has no interest in getting chewed up and spit out by a girl with a nasty bite. All the pod's sweeties better brace themselves because Brad does have some mean moves. He once won $10,000 doing a freestyle dance competition in Miami Beach. Do you think your his routine involved flossing? No, I don't. We like Brad. Brad is the first guy that I think is coming in with realistic expectations. We like Brad so far. Hopefully, he's not the one that's saying that women are already unattractive at 30. Next is Brian. He's a wine bar owner and a Cancer. Oh, why did I already get a feeling? Brian has been putting his business acumen to good use from a young age, opening up a wine bar during his senior year of college. Focusing on his career hasn't exactly helped him in the dating department, but now he's seeking a partner with whom he can share a bottle of his favorite vintage and help him nail down a better work life balance. Despite his discerning palate, you won't find any wine stains on his teeth. I get complimented on my smile a lot, he says. Hopefully, he'll match with a girl that can also take care of her pearly whites, as poor hygiene is a deal breaker. Okay, so nothing wrong with Brian. He and I would never be able to match because I have no class when it comes to wine. I will go and get that $20 barefoot girls' night out wine that tastes like juice, and I will just fill up my Stanley, and that's my evening. My Udi, my Stanley of wine, and a book. I'm good. And he would probably be judging the absolute fuck out of me. Daniel, 30, sales account executive. Okay, he's a Taurus. This former Gerber baby model. Let's see. Let's see. I could see it. It's the cheeks. This former Gerber baby model is all grown up and ready to find a partner he can go gaga over. With his parents' long lasting marriage as an inspiration for his own future love story, Daniel is intent on building a family with a woman who appreciates his sensitive side. He's hoping that she'll love him and his tendency to put his foot in his mouth unconditionally, though he doesn't always think before he speaks, which he's worried might get him into trouble in the pods. His openness and willingness to ask for help are rare qualities Daniel's most proud of developing. Okay, he seems like he's probably not a serial killer. Next is David, medical device sales. Aries, 33, working in the medical aesthetics industry. Oh, Dave is used to concentrating on people's looks, but his biggest turn off is superficiality. That and too much Botox. Ironic. Now he's eager to approach dating in a totally new way and prioritize shared interests and values over physical appearance. Though he sometimes struggles to express his feelings, Dave is prepared to get real with a partner who shares his social stamina, but has a different enough personality to keep him curious. If he finds a woman who can deck the halls with all with all 40 of his cousins every Christmas Eve, he might just be the one. But anyone who wins Dave's heart must first get the stamp of approval from his two most important people in his life, his dad and his sister. Okay, he can date the girl with the 80 cousins. Next is Devin, 29. He's a youth director and coach. He's a Pisces. Sneakerhead David built his own basketball training business and mentoring program to help kids reach their goals. When he's not on the court as a high school coach, he opts to forego the bar scene to stay in and cook up delicious dishes. Devin is hoping this experiment will help him accomplish one of his own greatest ambitions, meeting a woman who supports him from the sidelines during big games and in the kitchen every night as his sous chef. I would love to just be at home listening to music, partying, and dancing, he says, and then cooking together before enjoying a meal. Okay, he can hang out with the coach because he doesn't expect vulnerability on the first date. Next, we have Hugo, 30, and he's in marketing. He's a Pisces. It's unusual for Hugo to take long, last minute road trips, to try a new restaurant in another state on a random Friday night. It's not unusual? Oh, no, no. No wonder he describes his experience dating in Minneapolis as repetitive and mundane. A down to earth woman with that same spontaneous spirit will make the perfect co pilot on these frequent, unplanned joyrides. But Hugo is searching for a future wife who doesn't mind if sometimes rides solo. One thing I'm not willing to sacrifice for love would be my alone time. Okay, I hear ya. I hear you because like alone time, oh, so, so important. He says, I do need space every now and then, but after 4 years of the single life, he's ready to make room for a partner who shares his goals and values. Okay, but you need to be upfront right from the start. I'm talking from experience. You need to be upfront right from the start that you enjoy your alone time. Because if you get with somebody who thinks that like you're going to spend all of your time together, that is a recipe for disaster. Like, I love my alone time. I like spending time with my partner as well, but I also really like spending time with myself. To do what? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. Recharge. I'm an introvert. You don't think I am, but I am. I only come out for the tea. But I can appreciate someone who wants to spend not all, some of their time alone. And I think that that's healthy. Next is Joey. He's 35. He's a physician associate, Taurus. Is that the same as a physician's assistant? Always a groomsman, but never a groom. Joey was in 11 weddings last year. Yikes. In a year? How expensive is that? Like, you have to now have 11 tuxes because each of the weddings probably has their own, like, tux style, so you have to go rent all these tuxes unless you buy them. Anyways, the groom's presents, all of the bachelor parties, that is expensive. What does he do for he's a physician's associate. He has to have a lot of money to be in 11 weddings. That's a lot. Sorry, I digress. Ideally, he will find someone who's handy with the needle and thread since he once ripped his pants on the dance floor at 6 of those 11 weddings. Those have to be rented tuxes then, because if you bought your own tux and it ripped, no, they have to be rented. I'm sorry. You should have got your money back from those ones. Or maybe that's how he did. Maybe that's how he saves his money for the other weddings. Anyways, that is wild. Your pants are too tight. Joey is entering the pods in hopes that it will finally be his way. Sorry. Joey entered the pods in hopes that it will finally be his turn to say, I do, if he forms a relationship with someone who is empathetic and family oriented. Then Joey won't have any problem making compromises. Everyone's got healthy boundaries. So as long as we discuss and don't cross them, there wouldn't be anything I can't sacrifice, he says. But there is one thing Joy won't tolerate from a partner. If they give me a wet willy, I'm not going to be happy, he shares. That's a pet peeve and everyone knows it. Okay, okay, let's back it up. Him telling me not to give him a wet willy kind of makes me want to give him a wet willy. I wouldn't be able to because like my nails would never fit inside his ears. I hope. But, like, I have never considered giving anyone like, just walking up to, like, a person I was dating or anyone in my life for that matter, and, like, licking my finger and sticking it in their ear, like, it's just not something that comes to mind, so who are you hanging out with? And second, I have to say, I am not judging about the ripped pants. Let me tell you a story time. I have ripped my own pants many a times. And this may actually okay, so I remember we were going to this massive party for somebody's birthday. I had bought a brand new pair of not real, but pleather pants. They looked so like I loved these pants. These pants were instantly my favorite. I had seen them. I knew that I wanted them. Like it was on. This is a few years ago. So, I got these pants. They fit perfectly, they looked great, I was wearing them out very first time, and I was going to this huge party, right, with somebody I had been newly dating at the time. So, he picks me up, and I can't remember if I was getting out of the car at the location, and I snagged my pants, which instantly ripped, like, all the way up my backside on the ice scraper. Okay, now, if you know what an ice scra like, this is not going to resonate for people who do not live in a cold climate, but if you live in a cold climate, like, you're that is that is something that occupies a not insignificant amount of your brain, is that what happens if I somehow get snagged on the ice scraper and rip my pants? And that happened to me. And we were carpooling with, like, a whole bunch of people. And so, of course, now I have to tell the person that I am, like, there with, that I have just started dating, that we cannot arrive at the party now, which is on time. We have to now turn around, go back home to my house so that I can have a temper tantrum and a complete emotional meltdown and try and figure out a new outfit to wear to this massive party that we were invited to like a month ago. So, not judging about the pants, it can happen, and if it happened with an ice scraper, I my heart goes out to you. Mason, 33, cinematographer, a Taurus. Okay, he cannot watch this video because I am not a cinematographer and I do not have angles. Mason is used to relying on his visual instinct as a cinematographer, but now he's coming out from behind the camera to switch things up for love. His biggest accomplishment is making a living in a creative career he loves, and he's looking for the same passion and drive with a potential partner. A skater girl would be particularly rad, as Mason shreds whenever he gets the chance, even sneaking in skating sessions before work. In fact, he's so committed to the sport that he once went through an entire workday with a broken foot. While he may be tough on the ramp, Mason says his friends and family would beg to differ, love lovingly describing him as a big softie. If he's looking for somebody who skates at 33, I think he would just have a much easier time talking to people from his skating circle. Like, it's just I don't think I have ever met anyone, but I also don't necessarily run in that crowd since, like, high school, that just routinely skates. I don't know. I hope he does. Mo, 35, property manager, Capricorn. Born in the Bronx before moving to Senegal and returning to the United States before he turned 10, Mo learned English as his third language. That's impressive. After a year and a half of single life in a city that sometimes feels way too small, he's hitting the pods to see if he's also fluent in the language of love. His greatest accomplishment is becoming the first in his family to graduate college. But he didn't stop there. Mo says he experienced significant personal growth throughout his 20s, especially when it comes to communication. Now, funny and outgoing, Mo hopes to connect with his forever person, someone trustworthy who embraces a big heart and a resilient spirit. I like Mo. I am also the first in my family to graduate college, and I know that how momentous that can feel and how significant that can be like for your life and your family. Scott, 34, project manager, Sagittarius. Like any good Midwestern boy, Scott is extremely close with his friends and family, but for the first time, he's ready to make connections based on his own instincts instead of what others may think. Described by those who know him best as a golden retriever, Scott may struggle a bit with long dates, lounging in the pods. I do not sit still very well, he says. I enjoy taking in a football game on the couch, but after that, I need to get up and run off my energy. Still, that doesn't mean that doesn't mean a stimulating conversation with a girl that's well read won't get his tail wagging. Still, that doesn't mean a stimulating conversation with a girl that's well read won't wag his tail. Won't get his tail wagging. Oh my god, I cannot read today. Nice, he seems interesting. Tom, 38, management consultant and a Scorpio. Born in Brazil, but raised in Minnesota, Tom is a self described fitness fanatic. Oh no. Who doesn't take rest days. Oh no. I work out when I go on vacation. I'm pretty focused on my diet, he says. Now, Tom's ready to show that same level of commitment to a life partner. While he's slightly nervous about how fast a relationship could develop in the pods, he's excited about unplugging dating. He's excited about the unplugged dating exercise. But if Tom ends up falling for someone who's always glued to their phone after the pods, his number one ick, it could be a sticky situation. Oh yeah, we would never work out. Not that I don't work out. I will work out. I don't want to, but I will work out because I have to, you know? Like I admit that after you're done working out, you feel good, but don't want to. I do it because I need to. And if I can find a reason not to, I will. Like if I'm like, you know what? I'm going shopping today and I know that I'm going to be walking a lot, then I'm going to count that as my workout. Or if I'm like wearing my watch and it says that I've hit 10,000 steps, then I think that is a workout. Like that counts, right? And I love food. I don't do restrictions on food, like, I like good food, but sometimes I like bad food. So, I think I would completely strike out with all of the guys in this pod, but that's okay because 'cause I'm like Hugo and I could appreciate some time alone, so, yeah. Okay, I think this season's going to be super exciting. I thought I knew who it was that the drama was about, but I don't think it's him anymore. I don't know which one it's about. I'm excited. I will I'm not gonna talk about the drama here at all. I'm just going like, maybe we'll have some drama spoilers as the season goes on. But yeah, that was interesting. So I am excited to watch this with you. I hope you will join me. I hope you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and let's talk some shit this season. I need somebody that's going to sit here and listen to me mindlessly banter about all of the tea and all of the trash and the backstabbing and everything that happens in this season, and I am so down. So if you are, again, click that bell, and I will see you on Valentine's Day.